What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. It does appear, based on some of the polls, at least that I'm receiving and others are starting to receive via social media, that the Democrats are seriously considering tossing Biden out and putting Kamala in. I want you to check out this poll I received a few hours ago. It's all about Vice President Kamala Harris and replacing President Biden. I'll let you hear only 6 or 7 questions to this, but it is very telling. And once again, at the end, similar to the last poll, it is what it is, shows the problems within the Democratic Party. But here's question 1. Please share your honest opinion. Would you accept Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee? I mean, that's about as self-explanatory as it gets. This is coming from a Democratic, basically coming from the Biden administration. This coming through the text messages, just like Trump's 80810 and 88022. This is on the liberal side, asking, would you accept Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee? So my humble opinion, that's about as clear as you can get, that we're at least thinking about putting Kamala to the top of the ticket. Here's question 2. How would you rate Kamala Harris, her job, can't even read my own damn writing, as vice president? Or better yet, how would you rate the job Kamala Harris has done as vice president? Now, there's 2 pushbacks. Obviously, when they ask you, how do you rate her, everything from excellent, good, average, poor or bad, it's hard to really rate a vice president because they do so little. Their primary job is to be there in case the president doesn't make it. I wouldn't really be able to give you a whole lot of rating on Mike Pence or, any vice president we've had, Al Gore, or any of them, because they don't do a lot. Other than Dick Cheney, because folks believe he was behind the Iraq War, which I would give him a pretty bad grade for being behind that mishap. Something that Trump refers to as the worst mistake in U.S. history, being the Iraq War. But other than Dick Cheney, it's hard to give any vice president a grade of good or excellent. They just don't do much. So in the case of Kamala Harris, it's going to either be a grade of average or something worse, because people are going to bring up the border. Her stating nothing was happening at the border for a good part of her term. And then, of course, any African Americans that expect a black president, or in this case, a black vice president, to do things for the black community, there's nothing there. I don't believe there's anything of significance there. So average or less, that's probably what she would get as a VP by many, is an average grade or less. Continuing on, question number 3, though. Do you agree that Kamala Harris has fought hard for working families in the Biden administration? I'd like to see what they're basing that on. Some would easily be able to argue, yeah, Biden goes and talks about doing things for working families, whether it's forgiving college tuition, which that would help out some families financially, pushing for a minimum wage increase, working with unions and things like that. But that's Biden. What has Kamala Harris done for working families? I'd have to really dig more into it in detail. But right now, I don't think I would agree with it. Let me know in the comments, what am I missing out on in regards to that? Number 4, do you believe Kamala Harris can beat Donald Trump? Wow. Anything is possible, but damn, that might be a real tough hill to climb. Simply because Trump has a record that a lot of folks favor and dislike. Kamala Harris really doesn't have anything. She's kind of a wild card. So I'm not going to say she could not beat Trump, because there are a lot of Trump haters in existence, but it would be an interesting battle. Doesn't help. I know a lot of folks may not like this, but it doesn't help being black. Doesn't help being a woman. I mean, I get viewers on my live shows, particularly being a female. Not a lot of people are going to come out and actively admit they wouldn't vote for you simply because you're black. But there are plenty of folks who've come out and admitted they don't believe a woman is capable of running this country. I've had folks tell me that live. Nobody's going to admit they won't vote for a person because they're black, unless they're in culture. But other than in culture, I don't think anybody's going to hardly admit it. But there is obviously a lot of people out there that being black would not work well for Kamala Harris running for president. So that would be a couple things that a couple hurdles she'd have to deal with in reference to trying to beat Trump in an election. Here's number 5, though. How worried are you about a possible second Trump presidency? And they go from very worried to somewhat worried to not worthy. The obvious issues with this that would lead anybody to be worried or very worried about a Trump presidency is him and his connection to the Heritage Foundation and Project 2025. 3-4 months ago, I think there were far less people worried about Trump getting reelected than they are now. This Project 2025 stuff that's in the news on social media, it's getting big. It's growing tentacles. I did a video the other day that stated where they're saying on July 10th, the NFL and Taylor Swift, 2 huge entities in America, took a back seat to all of the folks that were Googling and looking up Project 2025. It was the most searched term that day, and it's continued to receive an incredible amount of research and attention. So the more Project 2025 continues to be tied to Trump, it's undoubtedly going to hurt his chances, drop his numbers and things like that. So we'll see. Trump has obviously said he doesn't know anything about Project 2025, has no connection to it, is downplaying it, and even got on social media and said it sounds ridiculous. Unfortunately for Trump, there are videos of him all over YouTube and social media speaking positively of the Heritage Foundation, stating that they had the best vision for America, asking folks to donate money to them. And of course, many of the authors of Project 2025 were appointed by Trump to work directly for him as president. So it's going to be a difficult sell for Trump with that much information out there online for him to say that he doesn't know anything about this and he doesn't have any connections to the Heritage Foundation. I mean, there's a ton of stuff out there. So we'll see if that has any real serious effect on Trump's candidacy. But the idea that he doesn't know anything about Project 2025 and doesn't have much connection to the Heritage Foundation, that's going to be a tough sell. My humble opinion, or my way I view, I'm a bit concerned from the idea of giving the police immunity from prosecution. Some folks have not heard Trump state this. Others are saying what he did say was taken out of context, but I'll give it to you.
And we're going to rebuild our cities. We're going to bring them back like they used to be. We're going to make them safe places again. We're going to give our police their power back, and we're going to give them immunity from prosecution, so they're not prosecuted for doing their job.
Now, he's giving police immunity, according to him, because he wants to get some of these liberal cities under control. I don't like it. I view it as basically sicking the police on citizens in these high crime areas. I mean, let's be clear, that's probably going to be a lot of black folks. Now, I'm not going to pretend like they don't need to do something about a lot of the crime that's happening in these areas, but I don't know if giving police immunity is going to solve that. I'm not a fan of it. Just wanted to point it out. We can talk about it being taken out of context or whatever else you want to bring up, but nevertheless, he is on video saying he wants to give immunity to police from prosecution so that they can do their jobs. I don't know what job a police officer of today is being restricted from doing that immunity would allow them to do it. Something that's actually in their job description where they are trying to do that, but they are being hindered from doing so, and giving them immunity from prosecution would allow them to do it. I don't know what he's talking about, and I don't expect him to clear that up. But that does make me somewhat concerned that any president would offer to give cops immunity. Anyway, continuing on, only one question left, and that is, Would you support a nationwide effort to boost Democratic enthusiasm, turnout, and resources to help defeat Donald Trump? Yes or no? Well, that depends on your political affiliation. If you support Democratic causes, Kamala Harris or Biden, you're going to say yes. If you don't, you're going to say no. If you're independent, you may or may not say yes or no. So there's not much to go with there. In my opinion, they should have been asking folks about this a lot earlier, with it being less than 4 months till the election, but it's in the poll. And last but not least, I brought this up before, and when we did this last time. Notice they use Obama's picture to raise money. This is at the end of this poll. Why not use Kamala Harris? Since the damn poll is all about her, if she is the one you're going to propel to the top of the ticket, why not use her photo? This is a clear-cut explanation that shows that the popularity among both Biden and Harris is very low, that you got to go back to the previous guy to use him to raise funds. But let your boy know in the comments, what do you think? What do you think the chances are of Kamala Harris being propelled to the top of the ticket? Do you think that would help the Democratic Party or hurt the Democratic Party? Do you think that Trump's going to kick their ass no matter which one they put up there? Let me know in the comments. As always, feel free to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.